Democratic lawmakers are pushing for a law to require Congress to approve military action in Venezuela. They say the law the administration is using to justify deadly strikes on suspected drug boats is fuzzy at best, and that it's no surprise Trump is threatening lawmakers at the same time he's deploying thousands of troops to the Caribbean.
So put yourselves in the shoes of a young lieutenant or sergeant who's in uniform right now, watching the commander-in-chief threaten members of Congress to death for telling you to follow the law. You're watching him orchestrate legally dubious military strikes while sidelining military lawyers and commanders who say that those actions may be illegal and could therefore get you prosecuted for following those orders. You're watching him dare Congress to stop him.
ABC News contributor, former U.S. ambassador to NATO and retired Lieutenant General Doug Lute is here for more on that. General, thank you for coming on. So you say American troops are obligated to reject illegal orders, and the military has lawyers on staff to help make those determinations. So how does that process work?
Well, the term legal orders actually springs all the way back, traces all the way back to the Constitution and the oath of office that military officers, in fact, all military officials and intelligence officials and diplomats. It's the same oath where they pledge to protect and defend the Constitution, so the law of the land. And then springing from the Constitution, subsequent orders to include, for example, in the military, the Uniform Code of Military Justice, which is federal law and defines what is legal and what is illegal. So this is very much has to do with the fundamentals of the oath of office. And beyond legal orders, there's the question of lawful orders. So lawful orders, in my understanding, include things that are not illegal, so not against the letter of the law, but further, orders that are issued by the authorities in charge, so senior officers, the chain of command, and so forth, and orders to the military that have to do with military purpose. So it's really those three components: not illegal, issued by legitimate authority, and serving military purpose. That's what comprises a lawful order.
The White House says the Democrats' message could inspire chaos and violence and disrupt the chain of command. What's your response to that?
No, I don't buy that at all. I think, if anything, the 6 members of Congress were reminding probably their constituents, and probably they've heard from former colleagues in the national security arena, so former military colleagues, former intelligence community colleagues, that they're concerned about some of the recent policies, or at least proposed policies, discussed policies, may take them into sort of a fuzzy boundary between legal and illegal. And I think they were simply reminding those former colleagues and constituents that they have no obligation to obey an illegal order and violate the law. In fact, they have an obligation to reject such an illegal order.
All right, so what happens if you do refuse to carry out an order?
Well, look, if it's an illegal order, you stand on very solid ground. If it's an unlawful, what you judge to be an unlawful order, so you doubt the authority of the individual issuing the order, or you doubt the military purpose of the order, then it's a judgment call. And this is why across the military chain of command, embedded in the military chain of command, are legal advisors who can help judge the difference between a lawful and legal. And so this is common practice, and there's good reason that we have military lawyers in our command structures.
So what should service members do if they think an order might be illegal or unlawful?
Well, first of all, if they have any question about this, they ought to seek some advice before executing. And one place to seek advice is their legal chain of command. If you receive an order at one level and you think it's unlawful, you can always bump up and move to a higher position on the chain of command, or you can seek legal advice from the embedded lawyers, military lawyers, who are trained and practiced and rehearsed in making these sorts of judgments.
All right, ABC News contributor, retired Lieutenant General Doug Lute, thank you.